My friend has been angry with me ever since I wore a nice dress to her wedding, but I found out that her husband told her something very disturbing. I went to a friend's wedding a few months ago. The friends are Matt and Susan. We're all part of a much larger friend group that gets along. To preface, I have never attended a wedding before and don't tend to dress up or put on makeup. Nothing against it. It's just expensive and time-consuming, and I work 16-hour days in a uniform. I was excited when I got the invite, saved up, and went to a shop I know carries my size. The clerk was amazing and so helpful. He chose a selection of dresses that would be wedding appropriate but weren't close to what the bridal party would be wearing. We had a lot of fun trying things on, and he hyped me up. It's one of the options I just fell in love with. It was a beautiful dark green silk bias cut dress. We matched it with heels, and I'd never felt prettier. The dress was on sale, too, so that was A+. The wedding day is coming, and it's lovely. I'm so happy for my friends. Susan ignores me, which is weird, but she's busy preparing, and then the wedding is in full swing, and the reception is busy, so I don't think much of it. Everything goes off without a hitch, and they drive off on their honeymoon. I suppose it's relevant, but I received compliments on my outfit during the event. I didn't think it caused a scene, and it wasn't anything particularly effusive or over the top. I was doing the same to others, so I didn't think it stood out. Everything concludes, and we all have a nice time. No one says anything until tonight. We all got together for Matt and Susan's welcome back dinner. During the dinner, Susan kept sniping at me about what I wore, just incredibly passive-aggressive. It was very clear she thought I overdressed. I didn't say anything at the time because I felt terrible. None of my friends corrected or stopped her either, but looking back on it, I feel wronged. She didn't give me the benefit of the doubt, and I don't feel my dress was over the top. I likely look very different from how I normally dress and present myself, so that might be part of it. I'm trying not to exceed the word limit, but I am very open to questions and elaborations if needed. So, Reddit, am I the a-hole? Update. So, poop has hit the fan. Got some from texting friends, others reached out, and I talked with Susan on the phone. Alright. So, apparently, this is relevant. I come from a fairly abusive situation. It's not the worst, but it's still not great. Add one to some religious trauma, and since a young age, I've been pretty relationship averse and a staunch atheist. Believe what you want to believe, that's fine, but it's not for me. Yeah? How does this apply? Well, Matt is very Christian. He is not an asshole about it, but he's been very clear that's the type of life he wants to live, and he wants to be a pastor. So a full decade ago, he asked me to a school dance. We didn't know each other very well yet. I told him no because my parents didn't let me go to those. He then asked if we could date, and I gently turned him down because A, again, my parents wouldn't have allowed it, and B, I knew I didn't want to live a religious life. This was a decade ago. We didn't become friends then. He also dated people in between then, so it was a little awkward, but he rarely ever thought about it. We were 15. As time passes, he starts dating Susan. Susan and her friends join the group. Everything is fine. We get along okay. Not the closest but good. There's some drama but I'm not usually in it, and honestly, I am really busy with uni and work. Then just work. But apparently, Matt told Susan that he had asked me out. No clue if he told her when it was, and this did bother her. I was oblivious. And yes, some of you were right. She is insecure. She also has anxiety. Matt, apparently, would get annoyed at her anxiousness when she'd call him crying, and in the moment, would be supportive, but then after, would compare her to me. Things like, yeah, you should be like, up. She doesn't stress about things like that. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be real with you here. Getting followed by a creep on a train is very different when you're 6 and take martial arts versus 5 minutes 1 second with anxiety. It's not fun either way and scary all the time, but can you blame her for crying? So I'm guessing she built up some sort of resentment towards me but never told me. Again, I'm oblivious to all this going on. COVID happens. He proposes. They wait a bit more for marriage. She invites people to the wedding and does not want me as part of the bridal party. Which, again, we're not the closest so I'm unfazed. Maybe a bit of sadness, but her bridal party is large and with girls closer to her, so I don't mind. My best friend is aware of some of the subtext going on here so she doesn't get along well with Susan and has a fight around this time so Susan says she's not invited, and my friend doesn't care. She's going to be abroad then anyway. She also kicked some girls from the bridal party because they were apparently talking poop about the relationship, but I know very little about this. So from what I can get from the conversation I had with Susan, she thinks me asking about what the bridal party and she were wearing was a dig, somehow, and that I chose green deliberately so that I'd stand out from the bridal party and her in the opposite color. Again, didn't ask me this, just came to that conclusion on her own. She is also utterly convinced that I dressed so nicely because I wanted to tempt Matt, and I should have dressed more modestly. So I asked why this was all coming up now, and why not talk to me about it. I could have assured her that there was never anything between Matt and I and never would be. This is where she tells me that during their honeymoon, he tells her that he's having doubts, and feels like I was the one that got away, and needs to pray over their relationship. They haven't separated or anything, but things have been tense and bad, so when they had that dinner, and she saw me again, she was pissed. She didn't say this directly, but I think it's pretty easy to infer. Now this didn't come up in the call, but chronologically, this happened shortly after I left the dinner. Some of our friends texted her and then reached out to me, and some talked to her directly. To the first person she talked to directly, she started SLT shaming me pretty hard, but apparently in a way where she thought they'd agree with her, and when she didn't, she got pissed and has been short with everyone after. At this point I tried to assure Susan that really nothing was there. I honestly had no clue what Matt's on about, and she just loses it. Starts screaming and swearing at me through the phone and crying and calling me really horrible things. I try to shut this down, but she cannot hear me, she's shouting so much. So I just hung up because what the F am I supposed to do with that? I sent her a text saying, hey, I'm sorry you're going through this, you don't deserve to be treated this way, but I don't deserve this treatment either. Whenever you are able to, I'd like to have a respectful face-to-face conversation. It shows read, but no answer. I have not contacted Matt because, honestly, I'm a little freaked out and a lot pissed and don't have a clue what to say and don't want to be near him at the moment. I don't think this is over. I might update again when/if more happens because it was cathartic to write this all out.